From now on, we will study about an interrogative clause. Let's start to study about the way to constitute an interrogative clause. The speaker arranges a clause to start with the first word to notify the listeners about that the clause conveys the interrogative intention of the speaker. So, as soon as the listeners hear the first word of the interrogative clause, the listeners can understand that the speaker is going to deliver the interrogative intent by the interrogative clause. So the listeners can understand the interrogative intention of the speaker only with the first word and prepare the response. Let's start to study about the interrogative clause that a general verb is applied in. The speaker arranges the modal verb did, do, does, or will to emphasize the definition of the general verb as the first word to start the interrogative clause with the general verb. The modal verbs, except the introduced modal verb did, do, does, or will, can be applied according to the intent of the speaker. The reason why the modal verb did, do, does, or will is introduced is able to be understood with the basic definition of the modal verb delivered by the modal verb did, do, does, or will. To review the second and third roles of a verb instead of the verb, there are 4 clauses. Each clause delivers the interrogative intent of the speaker, and each modal verb reveals the tense of the interrogative clause. The first clause delivers the interrogative intent of the speaker about the condition of the listeners in the past, and the listeners can understand the intent of the speaker who is about to deliver the interrogative intent with the very first word. The listeners can be informed about the fact that a general verb is applied in this clause, and the definition of the general verb is about an experience, a condition, or an action in the past. The second clause and third clause deliver the intent of the speaker who asks the listeners about the condition at the present. And this clause is about the condition of the subject who does not participate in the conversation with the speaker and the listeners at the present. The listeners are able to be informed about the information about the tense of the clause as the present tense and the number of the subject and whether the subject participates in the conversation with the speaker and the listeners or not. The third clause is about the future condition of the subject who does not participate in the conversation with the speaker and the listeners at the present. This page is about the way that the speaker constitutes an interrogative clause that a be verb is applied in. Because the be verb has the trait of the adverb, the preposition as, the be verb is arranged as the first word to convey the interrogative intention of the speaker to wonder about the existence of the subject or the condition on the premise that the subject exists. As the adverb dot directly describes the be verb, because the be verb already contains the trait of the adverb to deepen the definition of the be verb to describe the existence of the subject fundamentally to the condition of the subject. So in the interrogative clause, the be verb is stated at the first word, like these clauses. As the form of the be verb to describe the existence of the subject or subject in the past reveals the number of the subject or subjects. The number of the subject, that is one, is described by the form of the be verb was. The form of the be verb were reveals that the number of the subject is more than 2 or 0. The form of the be verb to describe the existence of the subject to the condition of the subject is deviated according to the number of the subject and the role of the subject in the conversation between the speaker and the listeners from am, are to is. The be verb to describe the existence of the subject in the future is described by the modal verb will. So the speaker arranges the modal verb will as the first word to start the interrogative clause with the be verb. The form of the be verb to describe the expected existence of the subject in the future is described by the modal verb will, even though the be verb includes the trait as an adverb, because the speaker considers the existence of the subject in the future is also accorded to the will or determination of the subject at the present. So we can understand the form of the be verb is always constant, applied with every subject. Will I be okay? Will we be okay? Will you be okay? Will he be okay? Will she be okay? Will it be okay? Will they be okay?